This is Old Time Radio USA, your source for the classic old-time radio shows you love.
A Raleigh cigarette program from Hollywood, starring Red Skelton with Ozzie Nelson and his orchestra, Harriet Hilliard, and Wonderful Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, here is a simple yet conclusive color test. A dependable guide used by experts to determine which tobacco is best. Yes, and it proves beyond question the superiority of Raleigh cigarettes. Compare the open ends of a pack of Raleighs with any other cigarette. You'll see at a glance the tobaccos in Raleighs are unmistakably more golden in color. Experts will assure you that these golden tobaccos are choicer, more expensive. There is proof beyond a dispute that Raleighs do give you the very finest quality. And not one alone, but 31 of these superior tobaccos go into Raleighs, blending their rich seasoning qualities into one distinctive flavor. No other cigarette can boast a more careful blend. No other cigarette gives you Raleigh's unrivaled richness, smoothness, mildness. Raleighs give you valuable coupons, too, redeemable for over 70 luxury premiums, including United States Defense stamps. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it pays in many ways to smoke Raleighs. Raleigh cigarettes. That was Ozzie Nelson and his orchestra playing I Want to Be Happy. And now we bring you Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's newest young comedian, the star of our show, Red Skelton.
Thank you very much, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, I feel great tonight.
You do, Red?
Yeah, been all day with Molly McGee and Mary and Morgan, Jordan, you know. Today was St. Patrick's Day, you know.
I know it, Red. Say, that St. Patrick must have been a terrific guy, huh?
Yeah.
Drove all the snakes out of Ireland, you know.
Yeah, I wonder if he could do anything with the wolves in Hollywood. Yeah, good old St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, everybody was wearing something green.
Yeah.
You were wearing something green, weren't you, Red?
Yeah, my face.
Say, what made you sick?
That girl I was with.
Yeah, I saw her. Where did you meet her, anyway?
Well, she was standing on the corner waiting for the Sunset bus, and I drove up.
Love at first sight, huh?
Yeah, she looked pretty good to me, and my tires looked pretty good to her.
Hello, Red.
Hello, Harriet. Say, I saw you in the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Yes, I was all in green.
Yeah, I'll say you were in green. The guy next to me took one look at you and your sister walking along, and he nudged me and he says, "Gosh, look at the size of that watermelon next to that pickle."
I saw your uncle marching in the parade, Red.
Yeah.
Boy, was he high.
Yeah, he's about 3 feet under the B-19. Oh, but the parade was swell, though. It went great up until the time they came to a certain corner. We had a brickyard on one side and a saloon on the other side.
What happened, Red?
15 minutes, they changed places. And they weren't even puffing.
My breath came in short pants once.
Really, Ozzie?
Yes, I was kissing my girl goodnight, and I bent her back, "Father, Father," and then something came between us.
Yeah? What was it?
The sidewalk. She fell down a manhole.
You know, I've been thinking St. Patrick must have had quite a job chasing the snakes out of Ireland.
I was a snake in the grass once.
You were, Ozzie?
Yes, but I gave it up. It was too hard on the stomach.
Say, Red, did you pick a shamrock from your lawn?
Shamrock? I can't even find any grass.
Why not?
Well, I don't know, but every morning a gopher comes out of his hole, looks around, and says, "I came, I saw, I conquered."
Well, it sure was a great day for the Irish.
Yeah. Say, and to top everything off, I threw a party at my house.
Oh, was it open house?
No, but it is now. I served some Irish punches.
Irish punch, what's that?
Well, one drink and you sprout green wings and a harp.
Say, did anything exciting happen?
Yeah, we almost had a blackout right in the middle of the party.
How come?
Well, Ozzy found a siren in his Cracker Jack box. Say, Harry, did you enjoy dancing with me? I say, did you enjoy dancing with me?
Oh, hold my crutch and I'll tell you.
Did I step on your toes much?
Oh, no, you didn't step on my toes.
No?
In fact, all the time we were dancing, you never stepped down off my knees.
Well, it was some party anyhow. I laughed so much I thought I'd die.
I had an uncle died once in a saloon.
Your uncle died in a saloon? How?
He strangled to death trying to wash some potato chips down with popcorn.
Your party was a swanky affair, Red.
Yeah, I'll say everybody there was wearing tails, or should have been. But I made one big mistake. I invited all of Ozzy's musicians. That's all, brother.
I never knew people ate like that before.
Yeah. Harriet brought in a midnight snack.
Yeah, what happened?
Well, my dog took one look at the musicians eating, went outside and buried his bones 6 feet deeper.
Said Pat McGee, now listen to me. I've heard you fellas brag about your beauties over there, and the gals you love so dear. That may be swell, that's all very well, wearing fancy clothes. But I've a queen, a fair Colleen, as sweet as any rose. Oh, laddie buck, list to my repose. Along the rocky road to Dublin, I was swinging along, I was singing a song. With joy me heart was bubbling, with Cordelia by me side. Sure every time I looked into those devilish eyes of blue, I couldn't help but feel very proud that I am Irish too. All me thoughts of dear old Dublin seem to carry me back to that rickety shack. How I long to be there once again. Once as before, sure, only to love Cordelia more, along the rocky road to Dublin.
The rocks and wills and old wishing wells we passed along the way among the shamrock-covered hills. Sure, it set me heart to thrills, and all the while we sat on the stile, we kissed and kissed and kissed. For whisper, lad, the heart she had was bigger than your fist. Oh, laddie buck, think of what ye missed. Along the rocky road to Dublin, I was swinging along, I was singing a song. With joy me heart was bubbling, with McGinty by me side. Sure every time I looked into those devilish eyes of blue, I couldn't help but feel very proud that I am Irish too. And all me thoughts of dear old Dublin seem to carry me back to that rickety shack. How I long to be there once again. Once as before, sure, only to love McGinty more along the rocky road to Dublin. Rocky, rocky road to Dublin.
Yes, that was the Rocky Road to Dublin, sung by Harriet Hilliard and Ozzy Nelson. An arrangement, which was arranged by Old Feinberg. And very good, too. Well, look who came in. Wonderful Smith. What's up, Wonderful?
Hi, Mr. Skelton. Can I use your telephone?
Use the telephone?
Yes, sir. I'm going to a formal party tonight, and I want to tell my mom to lay out a complete change of socks.
You're going to a party?
Yeah. Do I look all right dressed like this? I mean, do this suit fit my personality?
Yeah, one of those zoot suits. Yeah, well, what difference does it make?
Well, it's the party.
Yeah?
You see, you have to wear the clothes to fit your personality.
You do?
Yeah, and my gal has got me worried.
Why?
No personality.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Almost everybody likes to look well, and those that don't, at some time or other, are forced to dress up. So let's look in on different people, and I'll show you just what I mean. First, we have Clem, the fellow from the country, who's on his way to see his girl, Daisy June. She told him never to come back unless he spruced himself up. So let's look in and see what happens. Well, here I am on my way to see my girl. Oh, it ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. Do. I want to look nice for her tonight. I better pull my socks up. Sure is tough getting them over my shoes. I wonder if she's home. I'll knock on the door. Well, that's what we get for not rehearsing that. I forgot. I'll ring the bell. That was changed, wasn't it?
Hello, Clem.
Well, Daisy.
Clem. You know, when you first see me, you always sound like a vibrator. Hey, what you coming over here for?
Well, I thought I'd come over and listen to your radio.
You listen to the radio all the time, don't you?
Yeah, I even wrote a letter to the What's My Name program.
What happened?
Nothing. They didn't know what to know. Gee, you look pretty, Daisy June. Your cheeks are so nice and rosy.
Well, thank you, Clem.
Yep, that mercurochrome sure makes you look good. Can I come in, Daisy June?
Nope. Told you not to come back till you spruced up.
Oh.
Look at your hair. It's awful.
It is?
Why don't you do something about your hair?
What do you want me to do? Plow it under?
Well, would you like me to cut it?
Well, how would you do that? Put a bowl over my head?
Nope. I think with your head I'll use a funnel.
You mean my head comes to a point?
Yep, in two places. Let me look at it.
Okay.
Say, what's that sticking out behind your ear?
Nothing. Just some bubble gum I ain't whipped yet.
Well, come on in.
Okay.
I'll give you a shave, too.
A shave?
Sure. I shaved my pappy once, you know.
I know, but he was dying anyway.
All right, now just sit down. But be careful. One of them chairs is about ready to fall apart.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Was that the chair?
Well, it wasn't me.
Oh, Clem, you're so dumb.
No, I wouldn't say that. When I was in the 3rd grade, I was voted by my class as the one most likely to stay there. If you don't like me,
Oh, I like you.
You do?
But you look awful. You look tired.
I am. I get up every morning at the crack of midnight.
You get up at midnight. Why?
Well, I look silly stealing tires in broad daylight.
Now just sit back and relax. I'm ready to shave you. I'll strop the razor first.
See, don't strop it in this.
Oh, my, I must be nervous. Look, I just cut the strap right in half. Ain't that a scream? Clem, what you looking at me so funny for? Clem, what are you trying to say?
With that razor in your hand, oh, wouldn't you like to know?
Well, hold still while I take a swipe at your jaw.
Okay. Don't. Well, what do you know? You missed me a mile.
I'll try it again.
Okay. What are you using, a Jeep?
Oh, Clem, I think I cut you.
Let me see. Oh, well, it's all right. I always wanted a pug nose anyway.
You did, Clem?
Yeah, but you sort of overdid it. Now it's more pug than nose. have a lady and her little boy. She scrubbed him for an hour, and now they're on the way to the barber shop. So, Harriet, you be my mother, and I'll be the mean little kid, huh? Hippity hop, we off to the barber shop.
Junior, stop kicking that tin can. You'll wear out the tips of your shoes doing that.
I already wore them out. I'm working on the meat now.
Oh, Junior, you're a bad boy. Why do you worry me so much?
You worry me too, Mommy.
I worry you.
Yeah, every time I do something, I never know whether I'm going to get a whipping or not. Hey, Mommy, where you taking me?
I'm taking you to the barber shop to have that chewing gum cut out of your hair.
Yeah. Hey, you going to have all me long red curl cut off?
No. Why do you want your long red curls cut off?
Well, every time I walk past the corner, all the fellas call me Rodo Day. All the time they do.
Well, here's the barber shop.
Oh, look at that big stick of peppermint candy.
Junior, stop licking that barber pole.
Why? My tongue is clean.
I'm going across the street to the beauty parlor.
Beauty parlor?
So you go on in the barber shop and wait for me.
Oh, boy, beauty shop, pretty girls. I will go with you,
You
Mary.
can't go with me.
Now, you let me go with you, I will tell.
You'll tell what?
I would tell everybody that you got a sugar ration card under your maiden name, too.
Not.
Yes, you did. At 3 different places, too. I know.
Oh, now you're going to get it.
Oh, you hit me. Oh, you broke my little neck. You broke my... Oh, you hit me. Broke my little...
I didn't touch your neck.
Yes, you did, because there's a bruise right above the high water mark.
Now you go on and get into that barber shop.
Okay. Sometimes I wonder why I don't leave home and get a job at Lockheed. Well, here I is, all alone, so brace yourself, folks. Look at me, a fine thing, a widow man like me wearing curls. I wonder if I could talk the barber into cutting all my hair off. It wouldn't take very long. Just a snip here and a snap there. I bet he could do it before Mama got back, too. I bet he could. If I do, I get a whipping. I do it. Once and for all, I would put a stop to this hello, little girl stuff. Hello, Mr. Barber.
Oh, hello there, little girl.
You see what I mean? What a life. What a life.
What do you want, a haircut?
Well, I didn't come in here to bet on the horses.
Tell me, what kind of a haircut do you want?
I want one of them GI haircuts.
A GI haircut? What's that?
Well, it looks like a fire break, only more so.
Ah, you sure have quite a bushy head of hair there.
Yeah, from a distance, I look like a victory garden with legs.
On second thought, I can't cut your hair without permission from your mother or father.
You couldn't? Oh, well, I got a note here from my mommy for you to cut me hair off.
Oh, fine. Well, let's see the note.
The note. Let's see. What did I do with that note? Here's a slingshot. Comes in mighty handy making fat people walk faster. Here's a water pistol I use to put out candles during blackout. Here's me frog, and here's his leg. What do you know? He came apart. And a check for a short root beer. Well, what do you know? No note.
Well, I don't suppose you'd be here unless your mother sent you.
No, that's right.
Okay, I'll put this board across the arms of the chair for you to sit on.
Don't you hit
You're
me, don't.
Just a little fella. Yeah.
I'm a widow guy.
All right, now, upsy daisy.
It's bigger than I sound, ain't I?
Say you are. Tell me, how come you're so heavy?
My mommy said I got a cast iron tummy. Hey, you gonna serve lunch?
Well, no, why?
Well, what you putting that bib around me neck for?
Oh, that. Well, that's so all the hairs won't go down your neck.
Oh. Hey, why you at it? Give me a shave, too, will you?
You don't need a shave on your face.
Not on me face, on me head.
What? Why, if I shave your head, you look like a convict.
Oh, that's all right. I don't want to make Pop feel self-conscious when we visit him.
You be quiet, please, and don't wiggle around. If I
Okay.
were to cut you, I'd faint.
Would you really faint?
Yeah. Yes, I would. Now, you don't want that to happen, do you?
You don't know me very well, Doctor. Hey, douse the light quick. I hear an unidentified plane.
No. That's only the electric clippers.
Oh. Hey, what are you doing up there? It's getting awful drafty.
Well, I cut one whole side off.
Let me see.
Here you are.
Gee, don't I look funny? Boy, I better not go near that pool room. Somebody will bank me in a Tide pocket.
Well, let's get the other side.
Okay,
Now,
okay.
now hold still, will
All
you?
That tickled.
Oh, stop.
That tickled me widow's scar.
Will you please stop laughing?
You better let me enjoy myself, because when Mummy gets here...
Yeah, now, wait a minute. What will happen when Mommy gets here?
I'll give you 3 guesses, and they had all bloodshed.
I'm all finished. Now, here, look at yourself in the mirror.
Okay, let me see.
Well, do you like it?
Hey, what is you, an Indian? You scalped me. I don't like me that way. Put it back. Put it back.
You can't put it back once it's been cut off.
Now he tells me.
Pardon me, but did a little boy come in here?
Just this one, madam.
Oh, that isn't him. My, what a stupid-looking child.
Hey, how do I look, Mummy?
Junior, can that be you?
Yeah, look, no hair.
What happened to your head?
Scorched earth policy.
Oh!
Ozzy and the boys playing How About You? Say, Ozzy, have you been saving your Raleigh cigarette coupons?
Well, you bet I have, Truman, and I'm going to redeem them for defense stamps, too, just as you suggested. Say, incidentally, how do I go about it?
Well, Ozzy, just as other luxury Raleigh premiums. Simply take them or send them to your nearest Brown & Williamson Premium Exchange. You know, there are Brown & Williamson Premium Exchange stores in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, Louisville, and New York.
Okay, Truman, I'll surely do that.
And ladies and gentlemen, you'll enjoy Raleigh's smoothness, mildness, the golden goodness of their rich tobacco blend. And you'll enjoy saving those valuable Raleigh coupons, redeemable for more than 70 luxury premiums, including United States defense stamps. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, today more than ever before, it pays in many ways to smoke Raleigh's. A pack with a coupon on the back. Raleigh cigarettes.
And now getting back to people who have to be coaxed to get dressed up, we have Deadeye, a tough cowboy who's wanted by the sheriff, dead or else. And riding back to Poison Creek to get all dolled up for his girl, we find... Whoa! Whoa! Whoa, I said! I'm sorry, horse. I was going to count 3. But either way, you're still a dead horse. Hey, where's the barber?
Well, he ain't with us anymore. He had a little accident.
Next shot?
No, he caught his nose in a roulette wheel and broke his neck. We buried him yesterday.
Yeah. Well, dig him up. I need a shave.
Oh, I'm the new barber.
You're the new barber, huh? Okay, give me a hot towel, will you?
We're all out of hot towels. How about a warm Kleenex?
Yeah. It's a little soggy, but okay.
Shine, mister?
Yeah, I gotta look good. I'm gonna see my gal. What are you so happy about?
Man, did you see that reward for catching that dead eye?
Yeah, what would you do with that $25,000 if you caught him?
Nothing. For the rest of my life.
Well, would you be afraid to tackle a tough hombre like that?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Afraid of that no-good outlaw? Why, he's so yellow he'd make a Jap look good. If that was possible.
Suppose I was Deadeye, would you know him?
Why, sure. Uh-oh. Oh, but you ain't Deadeye.
Yeah.
Deadeye was toting 2 guns.
I'm toting 2 guns.
Yeah, but Deadeye had old dirty clothes.
I got dirty old clothes.
Yeah, but Mr. Deadeye, he had a face like yours.
I got a face like mine.
There, you see, you couldn't be Deadeye.
Come here.
Oh, no, now take it easy, Mr. Deadeye. Don't you know it's bad manners to point with a gun?
Come here, brother. You know the law of the West. Keep your mouth closed.
Oh, I knows the law of the West. I was born on the range.
Yeah?
And it was mighty hot.
How come?
The pilot light was on.
Say, Deadeye, look who's coming over here. Your girl, Calamity Jane.
Deadeye, you gotta get out of town. The sheriff's coming after you with a posse.
Posse? What's that?
You know, a gang of men out after that reward.
Reward? What's that?
A price on your head.
My head? What's that?
I could answer that, but it'd only lead to bloodshed.
Bloodshed? That I know.
Come on, Deadeye, there ain't much time.
Oh.
Why don't you disguise yourself by taking a bath or something?
Who, me?
Well, then get a shave. Your face looks like the bottom end of a carpet sweeper.
That's a good idea. Hey, barber, get my mug and shave me.
Okay, which is your mug? The pewter one?
Huh?
I say, which is your mug? The pewter one?
Yeah, I got a pewter mug, ain't I, gal?
Oh, it's too late. Here comes the sheriff now.
Yeah, we're tripped. Come on, gal. If MacArthur can get out of Bataan, we can get out of here. Come on.
Oh, what about the barber? He'll squeal.
Oh, no, he won't. Let me get my shooting irons.
Now, don't shoot me, Deadeye. You give me a break.
Okay, we'll be fair and square about this. Now, I'll count 3, and then I'll shoot. You ready? We'll draw. You ready? 1, 2, 3. He'd never beat me to the draw anyway. Come on, we'll go through the back window.
Oh, no, you don't. Stand where you is, Mr. Deadeye.
What for? You ain't got no gun.
No, but I got a razor.
No, I ain't fighting no razor, man. You got me.
Hello, Deadeye.
Hello, Sheriff. What do you know?
I don't know nothing. What do you know?
I don't know nothing. What do you know?
I don't know nothing.
Well, what do you know?
I got him, Sheriff.
Nice work there, wonderful. How did you nab him?
Take that razor away from him. I'm scared to death of a razor.
You know, Mr. Deadeye, you didn't have no right to be scared of that razor.
I didn't. Why not?
I couldn't find no place to plug it in.
Yeah.
That's Ozzie Nelson playing Thank Your Lucky Stars and Stripes. That's just what you'll be doing if you take the advice Del King has for you now.
Pipe smokers, for the very best in smoking tobacco, get Sir Walter Raleigh. It's smooth and mild, packed with a rich nut-like mellowness. Sir Walter Raleigh never bites your tongue. It burns even and cool right down to the bottom of the bowl because it's a perfect blend of selected burleys, carefully cured and aged and precisely crimp-cut. And the aroma of Sir Walter Raleigh is always welcome. Try the quality pipe tobacco of America tonight. Sir Walter Raleigh.
Remember, we'll all be back again next week at the same time. Red Skelton, Ozzie Nelson and his orchestra, Harriet Hilliard, Wonderful Smith, and your announcer, Truman Bradley. Until next week, then.
This is Red Skelton saying goodbye now. Thanks for listening. And smoke a Raleigh.
Red Skelton is heard on this program by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios. This program came to you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, Lady Esther presents the Screen Guild players in the 20th Century Fox picture, Irish Eyes Are Smiling, a charming and nostalgic musical romance that stars Dick Haymes as Ernest Ball and June Haver as Irish. The Lady Esther Screen Guild players in Irish Eyes Are Smiling.
With someone like you, a pal couldn't do. I'd like to leave it all behind and go and find someplace.
Ah, yes. Yes, that music takes me back a long way. A long way. To the days I'm afraid we've almost forgotten. And still I could never really forget that girl. Mary O'Neill, the girl we called Irish. And that boy, Ernest Ball, whose great Irish heart gave us all those wonderful ballads the world has been humming ever since. Of course, at this point, you may be wondering who I am. Very well, I'm Edgar Brawley, and I flatter myself that in the early days of the century, no further explanation would have been needed. There was a time I struck gold upon the Mackenzie, and the time that Wall Street wiped me out. That was the year before I won a fortune on the Derby, and a certain very blonde young lady sued me for... But that's another story, isn't it? At the moment, we're concerned with our two young sweethearts. Of course, I wasn't there when they met, but they've described the scene to me so very often, I feel fully qualified to tell it to you. The city was Cleveland, and of all places, backstage at a famous burlesque theater. Mary O'Neill was in the chorus, or rather, she should have been. At that particular moment, she was play acting in the Star's dressing room, tugged out in the Star's most ravishing costume, pretending she was Belle de Tour herself. And as fate would have it, at exactly that moment...
Yes? Come in.
I beg your pardon. Miss Latour?
Who?
Oh, I'm Ernest Ball, and before I say a word about my song, I want to thank you for answering my note.
Your note?
Oh, you know, the...
Oh, yes, your note. Oh, well, don't mention it. It was nothing.
Oh, it was everything. You see, I so seldom get encouragement that when I do, well, you've made me very happy, Miss Latour, and I thank you.
Well, you're very welcome, I'm sure. You said your name was Brill?
Ball. Ernest Ball.
Well, I'm glad to have met you, Mr. Ball.
Pleasure's been all mine.
Come in again sometime.
Thank you, I'd like to.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good gosh, the song.
The what?
Well, I almost forgot what I came for. Here, I can show you better at the piano. Now, the way I see it, Miss Latour, you're standing on a bridge. Moonlight behind you. On the water, I mean. Understand?
Not quite, but keep on talking.
Well, first we see the whole thing through gauze, like a dream. And then as the music comes in, you start to sing.
Oh, you're a song plugger.
Oh, no, this is my own. It goes like this. Sure, I love the dear silver that shines in your hair, and the brow that's all furrowed and wrinkled with care. I kiss the dear fingers so toil-worn for me. Oh, God bless you and keep you, Mother McCree. There's a spot in my heart which no calling may own. There's a depth in my soul never sounded or known. There's a place in my memory, my life that you fill. No other can take it. No one ever will. Sure, I love the dear silver that shines in your hair, and the brow that's all furrowed and wrinkled with care. I kiss the dear fingers so toil-worn keep you, Mother McCree.
Wonderful.
Oh, you really think so, Miss Latour?
Think so? Why, never in all my professional life.
In mine either.
Oh!
That's a big idea, wearing my costume.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Latour. I was just trying it on.
Miss Latour?
Well, who do I look like? Carrie Nation?
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Latour. I'm Ernest Ball. I mistook this young lady for you. And...
Young lady? What am I, an old hag?
Oh, Miss Latour, it's all my fault. If you'll just listen to his song.
Who asked you? You stay out of this.
I can't stay out of it. I'm in it.
Don't you talk to me like that.
I'll talk the way I want.
Why, you fresh little brat.
Oh, no, you won't.
Oh, glory be, miss. What a left.
Shall we go, Mr. Ball? I've just been fired.
Yes, that's how he met her. Mary O'Neill, whose nickname was Irish. And by the time he'd walked her home, the boy was in love as they stood there on the steps of her boarding house.
What's so funny?
Oh, I can still see Latour hitting the floor. You've got a pretty good left.
You see, Pop taught me that before he died. He said a girl had to be good to be good.
You know, I don't mean to be fresh, but you know your eyes sparkle when you laugh?
And when I'm mad?
Oh, they sort of flash. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write a song about you. It'll be just our song. I'll never play it for anyone else, just us. Maybe it'll go something like this. When Irish eyes are smiling. Da-da-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. What's the matter? Don't you like it?
Look, Ernest, I don't want to give you any false hopes. Tomorrow I'm leaving for New York.
New York? What for?
To find a job.
Can't you get one here?
In a burlesque show? No thanks. I want to try for something better. As Pop used to say, I'm going to make a pie or spoil a pumpkin. So, goodbye.
Goodbye? Oh, you can't say goodbye. Look, I'll sell a song pretty soon. I'll make some money. We'll go to New York together.
I'm sorry, Ernest.
Oh, no, you can't go. I won't let you go.
Ernie, please, you're hurting my arm.
Well, I don't care. You can't walk out of my life just like that. We just found each other.
Ernie, I'm warning you.
Go ahead, use your left. What do I care? What do I... Hey, you did.
I'm sorry, Ernie. Goodbye.
Irish, come out. Open up, darling. Will you please come out?
What's going on here anyway?
Oh, nothing, officer, nothing.
What's the idea? You looking for trouble?
No, thanks. I've got plenty already.
Poor Ernie, his troubles were just beginning. Working his way to New York was one thing. Finding Irish was another. And no one in the big city would even listen to his music, so finally he had to take a job. Plugging songs for Leo Bett. Which, as a matter of record, is how I met him. I was dining at Reisenheimer's that night with Lucille Lacey, the musical comedy star, and Al Jackson, the famous gambler. I remember we were talking and laughing, paying no attention to the boy who was singing until...
Hey, that song is awful. Who's the kid singing?
There's his card, Al. The waiter just brought it over.
Mr. Ernest Ball, representing Leo Bett, musical publisher. Is that one of Leo's new songs?
Apparently.
Horrible, isn't it? What's Leo got against us?
I don't know. I don't recall ever doing him a favor.
Uh-oh. I guess that kid don't approve of it.
I can hardly blame him.
Oh, wait a minute. He's going to make a speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know you didn't like that song. I don't like it either.
Well, my goodness.
I'm going to sing you another one. A song I wrote myself.
Well, this ought to be very good.
I hope you like it because, well, you just got to like it. There's a tear in your eye, and I'm wondering why, for it never should be there at all. With such power in your smile, sure a stone you'd beguile, so there's never a teardrop should fall. When your sweet lilting laughter's like some fairy song, and your eyes twinkle bright as can be, you should laugh all the while, and all other time smile for me. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like a morning spring. In the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they steal your heart away.
Broken down my eye. Edgar, I'll bet you $100 that kid's got $5,000 under his name right now.
$5,000? That kid? You've made a wager, my boy. Now prove it.
Sure. Isn't this his card on the table here?
Well,
there's his name and $5,000 under it. Want to count?
Oh, you slipped the $5,000 under his card. Very crude. Very crude.
Sure, schoolboy stuff.
Yeah, reforms too.
You know, Al, you should have waited 6 months. You might have won that bet legitimately.
Legitimately? Him?
Edgar, in 6 months, that boy will have more than $5,000, much more.
What do you mean?
That's the loveliest song I've heard in years. And if you'll let me, I'll use it at the Palace next week.
The Palace?
Yes. Now close your mouth and open your ears. I believe he's going to do an encore.
When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like a morning spring. In a lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they steal your heart away.
The second act of the Lady Esther Screen Guild play will follow in just a moment. Now, a word from Lady Esther.
Often the loveliness you admire in other charming women is not a gift of nature, but the result of clever beauty habits practiced faithfully day after day. For example, if you want a smooth, young-looking skin with that look of fastidious grooming, that fresh, well-cared-for look that is always so admired, then let me suggest you change your daily beauty routine. Simplify it. Adopt the beauty habit of millions of lovely women. The habit of one cream, Lady Esther 4-Purpose Face Cream, to take care of all the 4 most important needs of your skin. Now, I have a little test, the patch test, which shows you exactly how beautifying Lady Esther Face Cream is. You don't have to wait 30 days or even 30 minutes to see results. The patch test shows you results in 30 seconds. To make this test, just smooth Lady Esther 4-Purpose Face Cream on one patch of skin, like one cheek. Wipe it off. Then compare that cheek with the other. See the clean look of it. The radiant, satiny finish. Touch it with your fingers, and you even feel the difference. You see, Lady Esther Face Cream does all this. It thoroughly cleans your skin, softens your skin, helps nature refine the pores, and also leaves a perfect base for powder. So decide right now to make the Lady Esther patch test. The convincing proof you see in your mirror in 30 seconds will give you the Lady Esther habit for life.
the second act of Irish Eyes Are Smiling, starring June Haver and Dick Hames.
When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like the morning spring.
Well, that was how the lad got his start. Lucille introduced his song at the Palace, and the rest is a matter of history. Within a few months, all New York was singing Ernest Ball's tune, East Side.
I'm at a love of the field that is shining at a
West Side.
Boy of mine, hold on mijn hart was breken.
All around the town. Yes, his songs bringing happiness to everyone but himself. For try as he would, he could not find Irish. That is, not until that night at Churchill's. We were dining together again, Lucille, Al Jackson, and I, and Ernest had promised to meet us there. But as he came in the door...
Young lady, will you check my coat? Irish.
Good evening, sir.
What's the matter? Don't you remember me? Miss Latour, Cleveland? Irish, please don't act like that. Talk to me.
I'm the hat check girl here. I'm not allowed to talk to the customer.
Oh, but I've been looking for you everywhere. The newspapers, theatrical agencies, even the police.
You have?
Well, why do you think I came to New York? Irish, why didn't you let me know where you were?
I didn't know you were here. And then... Well, I couldn't after you were famous.
Look, we've got to talk. Let's get out of here. Let's go someplace.
Oh, but I couldn't walk out on Mr. Churchill, not on a minute's notice like that.
All right. Now we'll give him an hour. I'll go in and join my friends, and I'll pick you up here in an hour. All right?
All right.
Now, haven't you forgotten something?
What?
Something I've been dreaming of all these months. Gosh, Irish.
Oh,
Young lady, may I have my hat? I beg your pardon. Excuse me for intruding, but, oh, well, it's warm out. I'll get my hat tomorrow.
Yes, they might have lived happily ever after, but that was the night I made my bet with Al. He'd tricked me on so many other bets, I made up my mind to beat him this once. I led up to the subject very casually, and at last he bit.
Are you trying to say that's all it takes to make a star? Luck?
Luck and the proper handling. Why, I could take any woman in this room and make her a star within 3 months.
Edgar, you're balmy.
Think so? How much?
Make it easy on yourself. You never won a bet from me yet.
Then I'll tell you what. I'll give you a break. I won't pick any woman in this room, but I'll bet you I can make a star out of the next woman that comes out of the ladies' lounge, okay?
For how much?
Say 25,000?
25,000.
Got a bet. 25,000, that was a lot of money. You understand, I couldn't afford to take a chance, so I had myself a little talk with Lucille.
Oh, I understand, Edgar. I'm to be in the ladies' lounge, and when you whistle, I'm to come out. You're sure it's a joke.
A very big joke on Al.
Yes, and Mr. Jackson, I got it straight. I'll stay in there in the ladies' lounge sort of scrubbing around, and when you all whistle, I'll come out, right?
With one light correction, Ruby, you don't come out, you rush out. And be sure you're first.
Don't ask questions, Irish. I haven't time to explain. You just be in the ladies' lounge, and when I whistle, you come running, see?
I don't see Ernie, but I'll do it for you.
And so I whistled. In fact, we all whistled. And the door of the ladies' lounge burst open, and the girl came hurtling through on her face.
Irish, you made it. Here, let me help you up.
Oh, say, I've battled to get into those places, but never to get out of one. What's going on?
Millions of women powdering their noses, and it had to be her. Who is this girl?
Yeah, I'd like to know, too.
Hey, what is this anyway?
It's nothing, young lady, just a little joke.
A joke? Well, where do you get off playing jokes on me? Why, for 2 cents...
Oh, now, wait a minute, Irish. Wait a minute. It's not Lucille's fault. I sent you in there.
Well, I don't like your sense of humor.
Please, it's only a bet.
First it's a joke, and now it's a bet. Look, if you think you can use me just
Miss O'Neill, what is this? You're talking to a guest.
I know who I'm talking to. Shut up.
Miss O'Neill, you're fired.
Fired nothing. I quit. And you can take your guests and keep them. Good night.
Irish, wait.
Oh, I was really in trouble now. I had 3 months to win my bet, to make that girl into a leading lady, and she disappeared. She moved from her boarding house that very night. I was frantic, of course, and Ernest was flaming.
I'm fed up, I tell you. Fed up with it. With New York, with Broadway, with bunco artists like you. I'm through. I'm getting out.
But, Ernest, I have $25,000 at stake, and if we find that girl, you've told me she can sing and dance, I'll still need your music to build a show.
All right, you can have my music. I've got a dozen songs. You can have them all. But don't ask me to stay. I'm getting out.
And so he disappeared, too. All I could hope for was to find the girl. Well, I did find her, finally, in a little cafe in New Jersey, singing for what amounted to her supper.
Pat your feet, two-step and fool. Strut your stuff, use your perch. Trot your tootsies by the church. Cool your dogs, we're coming through. Get set for Lenox Avenue. Won't you stop, Miss Lizzie? Get busy, I want to see you walk. For the folks all state, the way you syncopate is the whole town park. When you move so pretty, it's a pity the other girl is from. But the man you meet, like the way you shake your feet. Oh, you're not gone dizzy, strut Miss Lizzie Brown. You got the cutest strut in town.
The girl was good. There was no question of that. So I went to her dressing room, did some fast talking, explained the situation, and offered her a contract to which she had only one reply.
Well, what about Ernest? Why didn't he come?
Ernest is taking a little vacation, my dear. He's gone out of town.
But he'll be back? Will he be back before we open?
Well, naturally. Oh, of course he'll back, my dear. I hope. You were wonderful. Now, just remember, in the second act...
Edgar, he didn't come.
My dear, we've got a hit on our hands. You'll be a star tomorrow morning.
You said he'd be here.
Iris, don't you understand?
Possibly I can help to explain.
Ernest, you're back. There, you see, my dear? Edgar Brawley always delivers the mail. Well, I've got things to do. If you'll excuse me.
Hello.
Is that all you can say?
Oh, no. How have you been?
Fine, thanks. And you?
Pretty good.
That's nice.
I understand you didn't run away.
No, I changed my mind.
Oh, that's nice.
I understand you went on a long vacation.
No, I changed my mind. Well, I guess that's all there is to say.
Yes, except one little thing.
What's that?
Darling, I still have a pretty good left. Unless you kiss me, one of us is going to get a black eye.
Iris.
Oh, Ernie, darling.
What's that? Oh, gosh, Iris, look, they've raised the curtain.
We're out on stage.
What do we do? All those people out there.
Well, since you're here, why don't you sing? Well, you know the words and music. Go on and sing.
Oh, well, all right.
Go on.
With someone like you, a pal good and true, I'd like to leave it all behind and go and find
some place that's known to just a spot to call.
We'll find perfect peace where joys never cease, out there beneath a kindly sky. We'll build a sweet little nest somewhere in the west and let the rest of the world go by. With someone like you, a pal good and true, I'd like to leave it all behind and go and find some place that's known to God alone, just a spot to call our own. We'll find perfect peace where joys never cease.
thank you, Dick Haynes and June Haver, for a delightful half hour.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. The Motion Picture Relief Fund and its country house, both supported largely by this program, are doing such magnificent work that we consider it a privilege to appear here with the Lady Esther Screen Guild players. Now, before we tell you about next week's program, here's a word from one of America's best-known beauty authorities, Lady Esther.
Thank you, Miss Haver. Ladies, has anyone said to you recently, "You're looking very lovely lately, so much younger"? Now, of course, such compliments are nice to hear, and you can hear them frequently from now on, if you will accept a friendly challenge from me. Simply try Lady Esther Bridal Pink Face Powder and see for yourself the instant, exciting difference in your appearance. It doesn't matter whether your hair is blonde, brown, auburn, or black. My Lady Esther Bridal Pink is a new kind of powder shade, intensely flattering to almost every skin it touches. And flattering not to your skin alone, but also to your hair, your eyes, yes, even your features. So many women tell me that just changing to Lady Esther Bridal Pink has made their features look smaller and daintier. Lady Esther Face Powder is so finely textured, it completely covers up tiny lines and blemishes. No trace of powder particles can be seen, only the subtle, fascinating effect of a smooth, young skin. For a really exciting change in your appearance, try this. First apply Lady Esther face cream. Wipe it off. Then dip your puff. Pat Lady Esther Bridal Pink Face Powder gently on your face. How you'll love the way you look. Remember, Lady Esther 4-Purpose Face Cream, Lady Esther Bridal Pink Face Powder.
Next week, the Lady Esther Screen Guild players will present Love is News. It will star James Gleason, Linda Darnell, and Bob Hope. Be sure to listen. June Haver can now be seen in the Technicolor picture The Dolly Sisters. Dick Haymes can soon be seen in Do You Love Me, both 20th Century Fox productions. Irish Eyes Are Smiling was presented through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox. Dick Haymes appeared through the courtesy of the Electric Auto Light Company and may be heard over this network on his own program every Saturday night. Music on tonight's program was conducted by Wilbur Hatch. This is Truman Bradley speaking for Lady Esther. Thank you and good night all. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Yes, we can't ignore our wives, can we?
No, but I have no respect for a man who doesn't try.
From comedy to sci-fi.
Adventures in time and space. Told in future tense.
You're listening to Old Time Radio USA.
Now let's get back to where we were, which is about as boring a place as I can think of.
Petri Wine brings you Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce in the new adventures of Sherlock Holmes. The Petri family, the family that took time to bring you good wine, invite you to listen to Dr. Watson tell us another story about his old friend, that master detective, Sherlock Holmes. And incidentally, I'd like to tell you about a swell American custom. The custom of serving sherry wine just before dinner. Petri California Sherry. You know, especially when you have guests, while you're waiting for that call to the dinner table, there's nothing better than a good glass of that good Petri Sherry. You don't need fancy glasses for Petri Sherry. No, sir. That wine tastes good out of any glass. And it looks good, too. Beautifully clear and the color of precious amber. Just try that Petri Sherry and you'll feel like smacking your lips after every sip. Oh, and say, Petri makes two kinds of sherry. The regular sherry and Petri Pale Dry Sherry. Just to make sure you get the perfect sherry for the whole family, don't buy one, buy two. But do be sure the sherry you buy is Petri Sherry. Petri, the proudest name in the history of American wine. And now I'm sure our good friend Dr. Watson's ready for us. Let's go in and join him.
Oh, there you are, Mr. Bartell.
Good evening, Doctor. Say, where are the puppies this evening?
Mr. Bartell, don't you think it's about time you began to refer to them as the dogs? They're almost a year old, you know.
I stand corrected. Where are the dogs this evening?
Well, they had another furious battle with a dead seal on the beach today. My housekeeper, Mrs. West, is giving them a much-needed bath.
They certainly have an aversion to seals, don't they? Well, Doctor, are you all ready with tonight's new Sherlock Holmes adventure?
Yes, my boy, and as yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, I decided to tell you a story that took place in Ireland a few years before the turn of the century. I imagine that you've heard of kissing the Blarney Stone, haven't you?
Oh, yes, Doctor, though I've never understood exactly what it meant.
Well, let me explain it to you, because the ceremony plays a very important part in the story tonight. Blarney Castle is an imposing 15th century ruin a few miles outside the town of Cork. The castle is many stories high, and in the foremost tower, the famous Blarney Stone is situated.
What's supposed to be the point in kissing it, Doctor?
The stone is considered a powerful talisman, and the legend runs that whoever kisses it is endowed with eloquence for life.
Say, Doctor, if I ever get over to Ireland, I'll certainly kiss that stone. But you're such a storyteller yourself, Doctor. I bet you've kissed it, huh?
No, Mr. Bartell. I'm afraid I never had quite enough courage.
Courage? Well, why does it need courage, Doctor?
Well, because the Blarney Stone is set in a most inaccessible position on the outside wall. To kiss it, it is customary to lower the candidate for eloquence over the rampart, head foremost, with a friend hanging on to his heels.
From the top of a castle? It does sound dangerous, Doctor.
Oh, it was, my boy. So much so that in recent years, a great row of iron spikes was put round the parapet to prevent an accident. Though, of course, at the time tonight's story took place, there was no such guard.
And I have a feeling that an accident did take place, Doctor?
No, Mr. Bartell. Let me tell you the story from the beginning. Sherlock Holmes and I were staying in the city of Cork, where the great man had just solved the singular affair which the local press had referred to as the Leprechaun Murders. A few days before our departure for England, we paid a visit to Blarney Castle. I must confess that I had a certain desire to test the miraculous powers attributed to the Blarney Stone. I very soon changed my mind, however, as Holmes and I stood there, high on the turrets of Blarney Castle, and watched a terrified initiate being hauled up by his ankles and yelling at the top of his voice. Pull me up! Pull me up quickly! I think I'm going to faint! Great Scott, I had no idea that kissing the Blarney Stone was such a hazardous proceeding, huh?
Yes. It would seem that eloquence could be more easily obtained by hanging suspended by one's ankles from a battlement with 100-foot drop below and kissing a piece of stone.
Oh, I'll never do that again. Oh, I'll never.
I must say, I don't blame the fellow.
And yet, my dear chap, on our way over here, you expressed a sneaking desire to kiss the stone yourself. I'll be very happy to hold your ankles if you want to try the experiment.
No, thank you. After witnessing the ceremony, I've changed my mind.
Then I suggest we make our way back downstairs. I don't think there's much more to be seen up here.
Very well. By the way, Holmes, do you know the origin of the superstition regarding the Blarney Stone?
Yes, I do, old chap. The stone was, the story of the stone dates back to the middle of the 15th century. A certain Cormac McCarthy, called the Strong, a descendant of the ancient kings of Munster and builder of this castle, chanced one day to save an old woman from drowning. In her gratitude, she offered Cormac a golden tongue, which would have the power to influence men and women, friends and foes, as he willed. She told him to mount the battlement, kiss a certain stone in the wall 5 feet below the gallery running round the top. He followed her directions and obtained all the fluent persuasiveness she had promised.
And I suppose the story spread, and the Blarney Stone has been a magnet to pilgrims ever since.
Yeah, a pleasant legend.
Holmes.
Yes, old chap?
Tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day. I bet there'll be quite a bit of excitement in the village tonight. Don't you think it'd be rather fun to pay a visit to one of the local inns?
Splendid idea, old chap. Our rather arduous work here in Ireland is concluded, and I think we're more than entitled to a little gaiety.
charming, quite charming. A waiter and singing at his work.
Singing very well, too. Just the same, I wish someone would come and take our order.
Oh, there's a barmaid. I'll see if I can catch her eye. Hi, miss.
Would you gentlemen be after wanting something?
Yes, my dear. My friend and I would like a little refreshment, and what would you suggest?
What would I suggest, Your Honor? Oh, begorra. There's but one drink a gentleman like yourself should be after pouring down ya, and that's the cream of Connemara. Whiskey that'll soften your heart and make you glow with a good feeling, so that the little people will be after visiting you.
It sounds delightful. Bring 2 glasses, will you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. I must say I never heard an English barmaid go into such rhapsodies over a nip of whiskey.
No, the Irish are distinctly more colourful in their speech. It's an interesting fact, though, Watson, that the Irish are curiously unrewarding in the criminal world. England, Scotland, America, Australia have all produced classics of crime, but the Irish murders, almost without exception, have been purely physical, affairs of hot blood.
You say that rather regretfully, Holmes.
No, my dear chap. No. I say, Watson, look at this rather florid-looking gentleman coming towards our table.
It looks to me as if he's a little under the weather.
You fellas have got to have a drink with me.
Oh, thank you, sir, thank you, but we've just ordered one.
Well, you've got to have it with me. I went to the races at Cork today and made a killing. I'm going to buy all the drinks here tonight.
I'm afraid that...
Nothing to be afraid of. I'll sit down with you for a moment. My name's Hankin, Geoffrey Hankin. What's yours?
Mine is Holmes, and this is my friend, Dr. Watson.
How do you do,
sir? How do you do?
Your Honors, that'll be 1 and 6.
Here, I'm paying for these here. Half a crown, and you can keep the change.
Oh, blessings on you, Your Honor.
Oh, well, if you insist on paying for our drinks, Mr. Hankin, here's your very good health.
Yes, indeed.
You're both English, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
So am I, and it's certainly a relief to hear an English voice again.
Oh, you don't like the Irish lilt, sir?
Can't bear it.
Personally, I find it rather charming.
Yes, indeed, so do I.
Well, you wouldn't if you had to live with it all the time. Sometimes I think that if I hear one more Irish tenor singing Molly Malone, or one more reference to the little people, I shall go raving mad.
You live in Ireland, sir?
Yeah, I have to. I own a half interest in the Tweed mill here, you see. In any case, my wife's Irish, and she thinks there's no other country in the world, so I suppose I'm stuck here. See that couple sitting at the table over there?
You mean the fellow with a very beautiful girl?
Yes. The man's Michael Corker, and my partner.
Oh, the girl's absolutely ravishing.
You'd like to meet her?
I'd like to, by George, yes. What do you say, Holmes?
Oh, very well, Watson. The combination of my natural curiosity and your taste for a pretty face would seem to suit the occasion admirably.
I might as well warn you, Doctor, that the pretty face belongs to my wife.
Your wife? Oh, good gracious me. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to...
Oh, well, you better bring your glasses with you. Molly, my dear, I want you to meet 2 English friends of mine, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson.
How do you do?
How do you do, Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson? Won't you sit down and join us?
And this is my partner, Michael Corcoran.
How do you do, Mr. Corcoran?
How do you do, sir?
I'm glad to meet you. Please be seated, gentlemen.
Are you visiting here in Cork, Mr.
Yes,
Holmes?
Mrs. Hankin, but we're returning to England in a few days.
You've been to Blarney Castle, I hope.
Oh, yes, we were there this afternoon.
And did either of you have the courage to kiss the Blarney Stone?
No, we didn't. I'm afraid it's an athletic feat that's beyond me.
It's a lot of rubbish, that's what it is. Kissing a slab of stone.
Have you the courage to do it, Geoffrey?
Well, of course I have, but I don't want to make a fool of myself. Where's the barmaid? Kathleen.
I'll make a wager, Geoffrey, that you haven't the courage to kiss the stone.
How much will you bet, Michael?
I'll wager a £10 note on it.
It's a bet, and you fellas witnessed it. I'll kiss the Blarney Stone at noon tomorrow, and you'll be £10 the poorer, Michael. And I suggest that Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson be present as well. They can act as referees.
Geoffrey, dear, don't get so excited.
Well, I don't like it when Michael suggests I don't have courage.
You want some more drink, Mr. Henkin?
Yes, all of us want some.
No more for me, thank you, Mr.
No more for
and
me,
I
thank you.
think you've had enough, Geoffrey.
Don't tell me when I've had enough, Molly.
In Dublin's fair city, the girls
Oh, no, not that filthy song.
Firstly, Mr. Hankin, I find the traditional Irish melodies quite beautiful.
And I find them revolting.
Geoffrey, quiet.
Would Your Honor be wanting me to sing another song?
My honor would like you to shut up that filthy caterwaul.
Really, sir, really. I call that
Geoffrey. Sean, please go on with your singing.
In Dublin's fair city...
You heard me, you great bog-trotting gossoon. I said shut up, and I meant shut up!
Jeffrey, I'm leaving here at once. Michael, please to take me home.
It'll be my pleasure, Molly.
You're an ugly man, Mr. Henkin. Knocking down poor Sean when he was singing just like a bird.
Oh, the devil with him, and all of you.
No Irishman will be after forgiving you for this night's work. No, not the little people of old Ireland either. You've made more enemies, Mr. Henkin, than you'll ever see. But you'll be knowing they're there.
Fiddlesticks, you can't frighten me with your stupid Irish superstition.
Well, bless my soul, that was a charming little party, I must say.
Englishmen like Hankin are a disgrace to their country. Fortunately, they're not representative, though.
Yes, I must say I'd hate to have a curse put on me like that barmaid laid on him.
Watson.
Yes?
Did you see the glances which Mr. Hankin's partner and his wife exchanged as the brawl started? There was more menace to him in those glances than in all the threats of all the little people in Ireland.
Yes. I thought that there was something between them. I say, Holmes, that bet about Hankin kissing the Blarney Stone at noon tomorrow, do you suppose...
I suppose nothing, old fellow. But there are forces at work here that I don't like. I think, Watson, that you and I will be at the Blarney Stone at noon tomorrow. It's possible that the bet made tonight is all part of a definite plan, and I have a feeling that the bet is still on. Quite windy up here today, old fellow, at the top of the tower, isn't it?
Yes, it's just past noon. I wonder if that man Hankin is going to keep to the terms of his bet.
We shall soon learn. In the meanwhile, are you sure that you wouldn't like to change your mind and kiss the Blarney Stone yourself?
I'm quite sure, thank you. Ah, here they come now.
Yes. Hankin and his partner, Mr. Corcoran. The bet is on, Watson. Good day to you, gentlemen.
Oh, hello. It's my friends from last night.
Well, I see you're going through with the bet, son.
Oh, yes. Jeffrey set his mind on the 10 pounds of mine.
Your wife didn't accompany you, Mr. Hankin?
No, she didn't. I'm afraid I'm rather in disgrace for my behavior last night. Molly made me go around and see that waiter fellow that I hit. I offered him money, but he wouldn't take it.
Did you offer him an apology?
Apologize? To a waiter? I should say not. Well, come on, let's get this stupid farce over with.
Are you sure your nerves can stand it, Jeffrey? There's a drop of 100 feet or more below you.
Oh, don't worry about me, Michael. Just hold on to my ankles tightly and don't let go. I'll climb onto the parapet. There we are. Now hold on to my feet, Michael, and lower me gently.
I'm holding you, Jeffrey.
Then lower away.
Right you are, Jeffrey.
Great Scott, I wouldn't do that for £100. Sliding head first down a vertical wall.
That's enough, Michael. I can reach the stone.
Oh, his boots. They're slipping through my fingers. I can't hold him.
Let me help you.
I'm slipping. Pull me.
Hold on to him. Hold on to him.
Oh, he's gone. I just couldn't hold him.
Great heavens. No man could survive that drop.
Mr. Corcoran, you deliberately let your partner slip to his death. This is murder.
But I don't understand it. I'm a strong man. But he just vanished out of my hands like a grease pig.
Let me see your hands, Mr. Corcoran.
This is dreadful. Dreadful.
There's grease on your hands. Grease. And with a faint trace of boot blacking.
Good Lord, Holmes. That means that...
Watson, that someone, knowing that Hankin was going to kiss the Blarney Stone, smeared his boots with grease so that he would slip out of the grasp of whoever was holding him. As clever a method of indirect long-distance murder as ever I've encountered.
You'll hear the remainder of Dr. Watson's story in just a second, so I'm going to remind you that Petri California Sherry is not only wonderful before dinner, but it's good almost any time. If you had to choose just one wine for almost any occasion, that wine would be Petri Sherry. Petri Sherry is a perfect wine to serve in the afternoon or in the evening. It's good before dinner, yes, but it's swell after dinner, too. In fact, with a bottle of Petri Sherry on your shelf, you've got practically a small-sized wine cellar. So get a bottle of Petri Sherry soon. And remember, you can't miss with any wine that has the letters P-E-T-R-I on the label, because all Petri wine is good wine. Well, Dr. Watson, this is quite a story you're telling us tonight. What happened next? I suppose you went down into the castle grounds and looked for the dead man's body?
Well, we tried to, Mr. Bartell, but the authorities were curiously uncooperative. They refused to let us search, insisting that the police be called first. And so, Mr. Bartell, half an hour after the tragedy, Holmes and I found ourselves standing in a tiny police station as we told the story to the local sergeant.
Sure, the saints be praised, Mr. Holmes. 'Tis a terrible story you've told me. Tomorrow I'll be after arresting Sean O'Flaherty.
Sean O'Flaherty? But he's the waiter at the inn, the one who sings.
That he is, and he sings like a breath of spring. I'll be sorry to see him hang.
But you've got no proof that he was responsible for the murder?
Proof, you say, sir? Well, I can't arrest a big manufacturing man like Mr. Cochran, can I? Or a fine lady like Mrs. Hankin.
But you can't arrest a man without any evidence of guilt.
Oh, I can't I? Then supposing I tell you that Sean O'Flaherty cleans the boots at the hotel where Mr. Hankin was staying.
He does, eh? Then he had the perfect opportunity for the greasing of Hankin's boots this morning. And we know he had a motive for harming him.
You're right, sir. And for what I have heard of the dead man's behavior last night, half a dozen people could have heard him make the bet that he'd kiss the Blarney Stone today. Sean O'Flaherty's our man. I'll have to arrest him tomorrow.
Tomorrow? But good heavens, man, aren't you going to do something today? A murderer's at large.
Today is blessed St. Patrick's Day. Oh, should let the poor fellow have the day in peace. Oh, he won't run away.
Oh, my dear son. Will you come back with me to the castle and search for the body? They refuse to let me do it alone.
On St. Patrick's Day? That I will not. We would need a crew of helpers, and where will I be after getting them on the blessed St. Patrick's Day? No, we'll do that tomorrow, too. No, today is a day for celebrating.
Oh, your methods astound me, Sergeant.
Do they now, sir? Don't be after fretting about me. Just enjoy yourself today. Tomorrow we'll see what can be done about it. Well, good day to you, gentlemen.
Oh, bless my soul. I've never seen such a happy-go-lucky policeman in my life.
It's infuriating. If only I were allowed to examine Hankin's body, I could get to the bottom of this.
Well, what are you going to do now, Holmes?
The police won't help us. Then we must take the law into our own hands. I think we'll start off by going to the hotel and seeing what we can find out from Sean O'Flaherty.
I was going to Ballinure a day, I well remember, for to view the lads and lasses on the 5th day of November with a murring-do-a-day and a murring-a-do-a-daddy. Oh, your honours would be after speaking to me, Sean O'Flaherty, perhaps?
Yes, Sean. Did you know that Mr. Hankin, the man who struck you last night, was dead?
Dead? Well, if ever a man deserved to be beneath the sod, 'twas Geoffrey Hankin himself. A mean, ugly man. The saints be praised that he's gone. How did he die, sir?
He was murdered.
Murdered? Well, bedad, I'm not surprised to hear it. Who murdered him, sir?
At the moment, the police seem to think that you are the culprit.
Myself? Well, how would I be after murdering the man, sir, when I don't even know how he died?
He died when he fell from the top of Blarney Castle as he was trying to kiss the stone.
He fell because Mr. Cochran, his partner, couldn't hold on to his feet. His boots had been greased.
And we know that you have been cleaning his boots, Sean.
That I have, sir. I cleaned them this very morning. But I put no grease on them, if that's what you'd be after suggesting.
I'm suggesting nothing. I'm trying to establish a few facts. Do you know Kathleen, the barmaid?
Oh, and why shouldn't I know her, sir? She's to be me wife before the winter sets in.
She pronounced a curse on the dead man last night just after he had knocked you down. It's possible that she met...
Here she comes, huh?
Sean, my darling, what are the fine gentlemen doing here?
Oh, Kathleen. They've come to ask me questions about the death of Mr. Hankin. He fell off Blarney Castle today and got himself murdered, they say.
The saints be praised. But what has that to do with you, my darling?
Well, the gentlemen tell me that the village police think that I might have greased his boots so that he slipped to his death.
The village police is as stupid as my father's big sow. If Mr. Hankin fell to his death today because his boots were greased, I can tell you who did it.
Indeed, who?
The little people. I warned Mr. Hankin last night that the little people would be after him. He insulted the Irish.
Oh, come, my dear. You don't seriously expect us to believe in the little people?
And why not, Your Honor? We have them here. There are those that say the fairies all be dead, but I know different. I've seen them. When I was a slip of a girl, close to where I lived, there was a rat. That's a fort, you know. And the rat was a fairy's fort. We never dared touch it with a spade or cut down a tree growing on it or carry away a stone. We'd put our ear to the ground at night, and we could hear the fairy music rising up from under the ground. Ah, they're gentle people. Most of the time. But they'd grease the boots of a man like Mr. Hankin if they didn't like them. That they would, Your Honor.
Holmes, I'm certain that we're wasting our time here.
I feel so, Watson. And get the whole thing turned on the greasing of those boots. If only I could have the boots in my hands. If only I could make laboratory tests. But until that dolt of a police... But of course! I have it, Watson.
You have what, Holmes?
The answer, I hope. Get hold of Mrs. Hankin and Mr. Corcoran. Have them meet me in the Blarney Stone Tower in half an hour.
And you, where are you going?
To the police station to try and convince the sergeant that even though it's St. Patrick's Day, it's his duty to help me trap a murderer.
You know, Mr. Holmes, you're an obstinate man. It's blessed St. Patrick's Day, and yet you insist that we meet here on the top of Blarney Castle. What do you think you can prove?
Who murdered Geoffrey Hankin?
But why do Molly and I have to be here?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. And poor Geoffrey's body still lying somewhere below us.
Mrs. Hankin, Mr. Corcoran. I asked Dr. Watson to bring you here for a good reason, I assure you. You ready, Watson?
Quite ready, Holmes.
Good. Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
You asked me why I've assembled the three of you here. I'm going to reconstruct the crime. I shall play the part of the victim. My friend Dr. Watson will represent you, Mr. Corcoran. Now, I straddle the parapet. So. Watson, hold on to my feet, will you?
I've got him, Holmes.
And lower me down the face of the wall.
Right, sure. Holmes, hold tight to the wall. Try and push yourself back. The murderer's tried to get you. Your boots are covered in grease.
Stand back. Come away. Grab my trouser legs, Watson.
I've got him, Holmes. Come, up you come. There we go. Oh, that was a near thing.
Devilish plot, Sergeant, and very cleverly carried out. My boots were ungreased when I entered the castle, and yet someone has been able to apply grease to them without my knowledge within the last few minutes.
Sure, and how is that possible, sir?
I don't know, Sergeant, I must confess.
Holmes, you stumbled as you came up the darkened staircase. Do you remember that?
That's true, old chap, I'd forgotten. And you, Mrs. Hankin, and you, Mr. Corcoran, were kind enough to assist me to my feet. An excellent opportunity to apply the grease. Now we know that one of you two is the murderer. I must have a jar of grease somewhere. Sergeant, will you search the lady while I search Mr. Corcoran?
But this is ridiculous.
Of course it is. How could we be guilty?
Well, if you're not guilty, you've got no objection to being searched, madam.
Upon my word, here in your purse, Mrs. Hankin, is a jar of grease.
What?
Now, what have you to say for yourself?
What can't you say, Sergeant? Except that she engineered her husband's murder and tried to engineer mine.
Oh, no. I knew nothing about Geoffrey's murder. Oh, Michael, darling, I swear to you.
Don't worry, my darling. I'll not let them hurt you. I'm telling you, you're wrong, Mr. Holmes. I was the murderer.
Oh, no, Michael. You mustn't sacrifice yourself for me.
I think this little play acting has gone far enough. Mr. Corcoran, you have just offered us what you think we will accept as a false confession. But I've established the one thing I wish to know, that you love your late partner's wife and she you.
I'm proud to admit that, Mr. Holmes. And now that she's a widow, I can say it in the open. But what are you implying?
That you murdered your partner.
But the grease on your own boots, sir. I just found a jar of it in Mrs. Hankin's handbag.
Oh, that, my dear Sergeant, was all part of my little plan. As to the grease on my boots, I confess I placed it there myself, just as I planted the jar of grease in your bag, Mrs.
But why, Holmes?
A fraud accomplished two ends. It forced you, Mr. Corcoran, into a betrayal of your love. But what was more important, it proved from what Dr. Watson's natural reactions were that a man holding the greased boots could not fail to realize that fact at once. You brazenly committed murder before our very eyes, Mr. Corcoran, hoping to appear as an innocent victim of another's plot.
Your theory is an ingenious one, Mr. Holmes, but how can you prove it? I can claim that my hands are unusually insensitive, not the delicate fingers of a doctor like your friend.
Yes, he's right, sir. How can you prove it?
When, with your kind cooperation, Sergeant, we find the body of Mr. Hankin and examine it, I shall study his boots. If the grease was applied at the hotel, as it would have been if Sean O'Flaherty had done it, the boots will reveal dust from the walk here. If there is no dust, the grease must have been applied as you grasped your partner's boots with grease-smeared hands, Mr. Corcoran. You should know best what my tests will
Grab
reveal.
him, Sergeant. Grab him.
Come back here.
Oh, Michael, don't! Please don't!
Goodbye, Molly, me darling.
Great Scott, he jumped off the parapet.
Now, Mr. Holmes, you can see that I was right, sir. Wasn't I?
What do you mean, Sergeant?
In waiting until tomorrow to get the search party. Now we can be after finding both bodies at the one time.
Well, Doctor, that was really an unusual story.
Even now I get a bit of a shudder when I think of that afternoon at the castle.
I don't blame you. Doctor, you know something? Earlier this evening, I said that if I ever got to Ireland, I'd certainly want to kiss the Blarney Stone, remember?
Yeah?
Well, I've changed my mind. I no more want to hang by my heels to kiss that stone than... Well, just let's forget it.
But, my boy, don't forget, if you kiss that stone, you get the gift of eloquence. You'd be the most convincing fellow in the world.
So?
So, well, whenever you talked about Petri wine, you'd really do people a favor because they wouldn't be able to resist trying it.
Oh, talking about Petri wine isn't important, Doctor. The best way to determine just how good Petri wine really is to taste it. One sip, and there's all the proof you need. That's because the Petri family has developed the art of winemaking to a truly fine point. They've been making wine for generations. And all of the things the Petri family knows about turning luscious, sun-ripened grapes into fragrant, delicious wine have been handed on down in the family from father to son, from father to son. That's why whenever you want a swell wine, for any occasion, you can't go wrong with a Petri wine, because Petri took time to bring you good wine. Well, Dr. Watson, what new Sherlock Holmes story are you planning to tell us next week?
Well, now, let me see. Next week, Mr. Bartell, I'm going to tell you a story in which that arch-criminal Professor Moriarty played a most important part. It deals with the theft of a famous painting, of a strange night that Sherlock Holmes and I spent trapped in the interior of a giant metal vault, and of mysterious bloodstains in an empty room.
Tonight's Sherlock Holmes adventure was written by Dennis Green and Anthony Boucher and was suggested by an incident in this Arthur Conan Doyle story, A Case of Identity. Music is by Dean Fosler. Mr. Rathbone appears through the courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, and Mr. Bruce through the courtesy of Universal Pictures, where they are now starring in the Sherlock Holmes series. Petri Wine Company of San Francisco, California, invites you to tune in again next week, same time, same station. Sherlock Holmes comes to you from our Hollywood studios. This is Harry Bartell saying goodnight for the Petri family. For a solid hour of exciting mystery dramas, listen every Monday on most of these same stations at 8 o'clock to Bulldog Drummond, followed immediately by Sherlock Holmes. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Time for Recollection. The National Broadcasting Company invites you to relax and reminisce with Recollections from the early days of radio. In this special series, we delve into the vast NBC library of sound to relive the memorable moments of radio's past, the stars who entertained you then, the special events that thrilled you. And to guide us through these priceless recollections, here is Ed Hurley.
Came mid the folder. Sure, and it is indeed Ed Hurley with Recollections. That opening phrase was Gaelic, and it means 1,000 welcomes to you all. Over the years in NBC's history, there have been a good many programs and a fair share of Emerald Isle talent before our microphones. And it is all preserved in NBC's Library of Sound, where I've been searching for it the past week. Now, not everything on tonight's show is Irish, but the first performer is indeed. A tenor this lad was, and a great one. the greatest ever to leave Ireland to bring pleasure to the rest of the world. So back we go to 1938 and Rudy Vallee's introduction to him.
To Ireland, on her day, a toast. And to the Irish, one of their great men. With the possible exception of Paderewski, no artist has come to represent a people so completely and so well as this man, John McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Valley. And in return for those very flattering words, let me wish you an Irish wish. May the chicken never be hatched that will scratch on your grave.
Thank you, Mr. McCormick. And may you be half an hour in heaven before the devil knows you're dead.
Well, if that's the game we want to play, Mr. Valley, try this toast on one of your girlfriends. Here's to myself and one other, and may that one other be she who drinks to herself and one other, and may that one other be me. And now, may we do away with the toasts and get on with the music?
We certainly may.
I'll sing The Garden Where the Praties Grow. It's an old Camalia, and incidentally, praties are potatoes. All right, then. Have you ever been in love, me boys, or have you felt the pain? I'd sooner be in jail myself than be in love again. For the girl I loved was beautiful, I'd have you all to know. And I met her in the garden where the praties grow. She was just the sort of creature, boys, that nature did intend to walk right through the world, me boys, without the Grecian bend. Nor did she wear a chignon, I'd have you all to know. And I met her in the garden where the praties grow. Says I, me pretty Kathleen, I'm tired of single life, and if you've no objection, sure I'll make you my sweet wife. She answered me right modestly and curtsied very low. You're welcome to the garden where the praties grow. She was just the sort of girl, boys, that nature did intend to walk right through the world, me boys, without the Grecian bend. Nor did she wear a chignon, I'd have you all to know. And I met her in the garden where the praties grow. Oh, the parents, they consented, and we're blessed with children 3. 2 boys just like their mother, and the girl's the image of me. And now we're going to train them up the way they ought to go, for to dig in the garden where the praties grow. She was just the sort of creature, boys, that nature did intend to walk right through the world, me boys, without the Grecian bend. Nor did she wear a chignon, I'd have you all to know. And I met her in the garden where the praties grow.
That was a priceless treasure from NBC's Library of Sound, a song that John McCormick did on the air in 1938. You know, of course, that we're very happy to fill your requests, so I'm about to fill one now. A listener is asked to hear the double damask dinner napkin sketch, which is, as everyone knows, that is, everyone old enough to lie about his age knows, this sketch made Beatrice Lilly a little more than famous than she already was. It's appropriate that we should bring B. Lily's famous act to you tonight because she has just opened here in New York to the acclaim which always greets her in Ziegfeld Follies. Now here's that famous sketch as she did it on the air on an NBC show 22 years ago.
Shop? Shop. Can't I get a little service? Clark? Clerk? Am I waiting for anyone? Am I standing on something? Will you kindly attend to me?
Something I can do for you, madam?
Well, I wonder if you could tell me if my order has gone off yet.
Not knowing your order, madam, I really couldn't say.
But I telephoned it to you today.
What name, madam?
Miss Beatrice Lilly.
Have you an address, madam?
Do I look as if I live in the open air? I gave a large order for double damask dinner napkins to be sent care of Mrs. Whittletree.
Whittletree, madam?
I hope I speak plainly. Whittletree, I said.
I remember perfectly now, madam. What was it that you ordered, madam?
I wanted 2 double dumb and damask dinner napkins.
I'm sorry, madam, I didn't quite catch.
Dinner napkins, my good man. Dinner napkins.
Of course, madam. Plain?
Not plain at all. Double damask.
Would you repeat the order, madam? I'm not quite
sure. I want 2 double dam and damask. Oh, dear me. 2 dozen damel dizzy danic nipkins.
Dinner nipkins, madam?
Yes.
You mean dinner napkins?
That's
what I said?
You pardon me, madam. You said dinner napkins.
Don't be ridiculous. I said dinner napkins, and I meant dinner napkins. Slipper dancing. Dear me, I wish you wouldn't confuse me.
I'm sorry, madam. You want dinner napkins. Exactly. How many, madam?
2 dozen.
Madam?
Good gracious, young man, can't you get it right? I want 2 dozen damask dinner knickers.
Not 2 dozen, madam. You mean 2 dozen.
I said 2 dozen. Only they must be damel-dozic.
I'm afraid we haven't any of that in stock, madam.
Of all the fools. Can't I find anyone with a modicum, just a modicum of intelligence in the store?
Here is our Mr. Peters, madam. Perhaps if you was to ask him.
May I be of any assistance, madam?
I'm sorry to say it, but your clerk doesn't appear to speak English. I'm giving an order, but it might as well be in Greek for all he understands.
Ah, yes. Allow me to help you, madam. You require...
I want 2 dozen double damascene napkins.
I beg your pardon, madam.
I want 2 dozen dozen.
2 dozen.
Didn't I say 2 dozen?
You said dozen, madam, but I understood what you meant. 2 dozen. In other words, a double dozen.
That's it. A double double damask dizzy knickers.
Pardon me, madam. You mean a double dozen of damask dinner napkins?
Double damask, sir.
I said double damask. It's dinner napkins you require, madam.
Dapper ninkins, sir.
Nippy damkins.
Allow me, madam. If I may say so, we got confused, splitting us up, as it were. The full order is 2 dozen dibble damask dinner napkins.
You'll excuse me, sir. You mean 2 dum and dabble dimmick dizzy napkins.
I don't want dizzy napkins at all. I want 2 dizzle damn dozic.
No, 2 dazzle dumb and dizzy.
2 dozen, sir. 2 dozen dibble dozic.
2 damn dizzy double dinner dancers.
Madam, please, your language.
Oh, cool. Give me 2 dozen doilies.
That was starling Beatrice Lilly in 1935, hearing one of her most famous sketches. Now back to the Irish of it. Anyone who was an autograph hunter between 1925 and 1930 surely remembers the silver masked tenor. He was the Sinatra of his day, all right, singing with one of radio's first commercial programs for the Goodrich Rubber Company. And though he was a native New Yorker, he was, like so many tenors, of Irish descent. If you've been wondering for 30 years why he wore a silver mask in all public appearances, it was simply because an announcer happened to describe the tenor as a man of mystery. No one knows his name, he said. We call him the man in the silver mask. Then a deluge of mail poured into NBC from curious listeners who wanted to know more about him. So from that point on, it was decided to play along with the gag. And so Joe White always wore a sterling silver mask wherever he appeared. And here he is on St. Patrick's Day, 1926.
Have you ever heard the story of how Ireland got its name? I'll tell you so you'll understand from whence old Ireland came. No wonder that we're proud of that dear land across the sea. For here's the way me dear old mother told the tale to me. Sure, a little bit of heaven fell from out of the sky one day and nestled on the ocean in a spot so far away. And when the angels found it, sure it looked so sweet and fair. They said, suppose we leave it, for it looked so peaceful there. So they sprinkled it with stardust just to make the shamrocks grow. 'Tis the only place you'll find them, no matter where you go. Then they dotted it with silver to make its lake so grand. And when they had it finished, sure they called it Ireland. 'Tis a dear old land of fairies and of wondrous wishing wells, and nowhere else on God's green earth have they such lakes and dells. No wonder that the angels loved its shamrock bordered shores. 'Tis a little bit of a heaven, and I love it more and more. Sure, a little
Joe White, the silver-masked tenor of 1926, an old friend of mine. Incidentally, Joe is still hale and hearty and especially happy that his son, Bobby White, is following in his dad's footsteps. Now, this next is a very interesting item. I'm sure you've all heard about the monastery at Capistrano in California. For on each year, on March the 19th, the swallows who have flown away from that monastery for the winter return. Well, there came a time, many, many years ago, when the monastery was badly in need of repairs, and the money for these repairs was not in evidence. But on an NBC broadcast, this fact was made public, and donations from listeners enabled the mission fathers to save that historic monastery. So, from the show that saved the monastery at Capistrano, then, we hear this excerpt.
The swallows have arrived, hundreds of them, guided by an unseen hand direct to the mission, just as they have been for the past 159 years. It's a sight that leaves one breathless. Like tiny dark clouds they came this morning, appearing dimly on the horizon at first and then thinning out as they neared the mission. And high in the air they flew so high that it was necessary to use field glasses to determine that they actually were swallows. As many suppose, the swallows don't arrive in one large flock, but they come in by the dozens and 50s until suddenly you find the old mission is full of them. They began to arrive about 5 o'clock this morning. It seems only fitting that the first greeting to the swallow should come from the little children to whom they bring the most joy and happiness. A traditional song that is sung each year on the day of the arrival of the swallows. Good morning, Mr. Swallow.
Good morning, Mr. Swallow. Come from far away. We are glad to see you on St. Joseph's Day. Sleeping in the sunshine, we can see you all. Building up your houses on the mission wall. Good morning, Mr. Swallow. Come from far away. We are glad to see you on St. Joseph's Day. Sitting in the sunshine, we can see you all. Building up your houses on the mission wall.
You remember that when Rudy Valley introduced John McCormick a few numbers back, he said that no artist so completely represented his own country except Paderewski. Paderewski was both a statesman and probably the greatest pianist who ever lived. His first American radio concert was on September the 25th in 1938 on the Magic Key program on NBC. Here from that program is the great Paderewski, nearly 78 years old then, playing the waltz in C-sharp minor. This was a remote pickup from Lausanne in Switzerland. That was Ignaz Jan Paderewski, 78 years of age at that time, in his first American radio concert, September the 25th, 1938. We're going to turn to another great Irish tenor, Morton Downey, who introduces his own song.
I'd like to sing a song that my wife found for me in England. It's a beautiful A.A. Milne poem about a little lad named Christopher Robin. An Englishman set it to music. As a poem, it's lovely, but as a song, well, it's great. Our kids were crazy about it, and so I hope all the listeners in will like it as much as the Downey family does. Listen. Christopher Robin is saying his prayers. Little boy kneels at the foot of, droops on his little hands, little gold head. Hush, hush, whisper, who dares? Christopher Robin is saying his prayers. God bless Mommy, I know that's right. Wasn't it fun in a bath tonight? The cold so cold and the hot so hot. God bless Daddy, I most forgot. If I open my fingers a little bit more, I can see Nanny's dressing gown on the door. It's a beautiful blue, but it hasn't a hood. God bless Nanny and make her good. Mine has a hood, and I lie in bed, and I pull the hood right over my head, and I close my eyes, and I curl up small. And nobody knows that I'm there at all. Oh, thank you, God, for a lovely day. And what was the other I had to say? I said, bless Daddy, so what can it be? Oh, now I remember it. God bless me. Little boy kneels at the foot of the bed, droops on his little hand, little gold head. Hush, hush, whisper, who dares? Christopher Robin is saying his prayers. Thank you. Thank you, radio audience. Thank you very, very much.
That was Morton Downey as he performed 19 years ago on NBC. Now, if you've enjoyed tonight's Recollections, I certainly would appreciate hearing from you. And this is how you get in touch with me. Address Ed Hurley, Herlihy, care of the National Broadcasting Company, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, Radio City, New York. And please, while you've got your pencil in hand, make a note to hear next week's special program when President Roosevelt was first inaugurated, and all of those younger ones who may wonder what radio and the times were like then will be able to sample on this show that historic inauguration together with other great radio highlights of 1933. So, until then, this is Ed O'Hurley, hoping that the happy memories of tonight will last until we meet again, 7 days hence. Good night, everyone.
Ed Hurley has been your host on Recollection. Join him next week at this time for more highlights in the history of radio broadcasting. This is Fred Collins. Recollections is an NBC Radio Network production directed by Bob Bauer.
Recollections at 30 is another worldwide presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Thank you. Los Angeles went all out for St. Patrick's Day, tinting the smog green. No, and all day long on the radio they've been playing Irish songs. One program played Did Your Mother Come From Ireland? How Are Things in Glockamore? It's a Long Way to Tipperary and My Wild Irish Rose. I know there's nothing unusual about that except this was the Scandinavian hour. To a St. Patrick's Day party last night, and every important Irish celebrity in Hollywood was there. Maureen O'Hara, Dan O'Hurley, Pat O'Brien. And when they served the free lunch, another Irishman showed up, Jack O'Benny. No, but there's a big Irish colony where I live in North Hollywood, but they stay pretty much to themselves. They come to town only once every 4 years during a presidential election to vote for Pat O'Brien. And, of course, all the Irish cops here in Hollywood have that St. Patrick's Day spirit, but sometimes I think they overdo it. 3 times a day I got a ticket for passing a green light. But the Irish are great people. You can say what you like about the Irish, but before you do, make sure you're paid up with a Blue Cross. I went to a St. Patrick's party at Les Brown's house last night. I like to see how the other half lives. And my suit needed cleaning anyway. No, Les invited all the boys in his band. He thought it would be appropriate. Most of them are still green from last New Year's. What a party. I won't say things got rough, but about midnight I saw a familiar face across the room, and it turned out to be mine. About 2 a.m, the party got so noisy, even Phil Harris called up and complained about the racket. Phil was lying under the piano. And the sax player's girl had the pickle fork in her hand, and I never knew before how sharp those things are. In fact, I wouldn't know now if I hadn't been over to tie my shoelace just as they started to play Pin the Tail on the Donkey.
Your favorite old-time radio shows from the 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. You're listening to Old Time Radio USA, part of the WOTR Radio Network.